is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard. Like I told you, we're going to be coming to you live from the Youth Fair, and we are in the main entrance here. We're just outside of the main entrance, so we are established. We got the tent going. Everything's set to go. Sean Stanley by my side. There's Al in the background and everything. It's all good. It's all good in the hood, and we're having some fun, and we are out here. Be there, the fair. Yes, the rest of the Alzagari clan also hard at work helping out, as always. The wife and the daughter.
You even got them in the fit tonight.
Yep.
Look at the Big O shirts going.
Yep, they got Big O shirts going. Everybody's got a Big O shirt going. You know, I always I feel weird wearing one. You know, it's like I'm going to wear my own shirt.
2X, by the way. 2X.
Oh, so that means I could get you a few 2Xs now. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll keep the 3 X's right now.
Yeah,
We got enough fans that are gonna need 2 X's.
yeah.
I'll keep the 3 X's.
Okay.
But happily, they're now becoming, like the sleeping shirts.
That's it. Exactly. That's what they've become. Yeah, I'm with you there, bro. Big O elephant ears today. Yes, sir. Of course. Of course, one of my 2 meals of the day today will be an elephant ear. So yes, the wife will be a champ and get me an elephant ear eventually, and I will enjoy it. By the way, Matt Verderam is going to join us at 4:30, so in about 15 minutes. Jay Skursky will join us at 6 o'clock. Jay is a Bills beat writer for the Buffalo News and my go-to guy when I go for Buffalo stuff. Love reading Jay stuff because he pretty much tells it like it is. And so we'll get his thoughts on Stefon Diggs. So we'll get that talk. I mean, the Bills window is shut down. It's like closed. It's over. Okay. I'll tell you the main thing about Stefon Diggs getting traded to the Houston Texans. You want to know what the main thing is, Miami Dolphin fans, about Stefon Diggs? Miami Dolphins, there's no excuses now. Nothing whatsoever. You're better than Buffalo. You're better than the Jets. And everybody pretty much in the league is better than the New England Patriots. So you need to get your shit together. And this head coach needs to have a great season. And now you take the next step. You've made the playoffs the last 2 years. You got knocked out at the end for the division. There's no excuses. Josh Allen does not have the accuracy to overcome this kind of stuff. So he's going to make a boatload of more mistakes this year. That team took several steps back. It's been depleted by a lot of talent. They got old. That window is closed. It's absolutely closed for the Buffalo Bills. As far as I'm concerned, the Miami Dolphins need to win the division from here on out. There is no excuse whatsoever. And you got to go out there and get it done. The old-ass Jets aren't going to get it done. Okay, Aaron Rodgers, 40-year-old ass, coming back from an Achilles injury. Get the hell out of here. Did they change the turf? It's the same turf. Okay, how much?
I believe that they're one of the teams that have to change it for the
The World Cup. But
World Cup. But are they going to change it back after, or are they going to keep it?
The World Cup is when? 2 more years, right? In 26?
Oh, 26. You're right. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they're changing it anytime soon.
Right.
Not the Jets.
They're not going to manage grass for 2 more years.
Not anymore than they have to.
Right. So last time I checked, the 40-year-old fart has to play with a repaired Achilles on the same turf. Oh, and last time I checked, did they completely revamp their entire offensive line or something? Like they were so monstrous? They had a couple guys, but I still don't know if that's a great offensive line. You know, that doesn't get me excited if I get it. Jets fans are desperate, so they might believe anything. But this, to me, if you're Mike McDaniel, I just want you to know that your excuses are gone now. You are the better team in the division now. It's time for you and the coaching staff to go out there and do your damn job. Front office is giving you the talent, dude. And, the one thing you do need that's out of Mike's control, out of your control, my control, everybody's control, luck. We got to get the break on the injuries. That is everybody and anybody that's out there. That's every team. But it's time, dude. It's time. You got to turn that off, man. Got to turn it off. Anyway, so it's time. It's time. So there are no more excuses. That's what, to me, the whole Stefon Diggs thing is. The Bills have taken enough of a dive. You should have won the division last year. Okay? So this year, there are no excuses. So that's the hot take that I'll open up with on the show. No excuses for Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. That shit is over, dude. So Their window's closed. Your window's open. You got a couple other years left in this window. You better take advantage of it. Better win that division. Try to play for some home field advantage. You know? You better start doing some of that. That's all I can say. Because there are no more excuses, to be quite honest. And that's where I want to see this team, move forward from here on out. They just handed you a gift. They got rid of their Malcontent because they've got so many cap issues, and they know also that their window's closing. So they felt like, okay, well then we need to, get rid of this guy now, take the cap hit, and move forward. And we'll see what happens with Houston now too, because I kind of feel bad for CJ that he has to deal with this guy. Yeah, he's a good player, but he's a pain in the ass. He's a malcontent. So they'll keep him around for a year or two because they've got it's an $18 and $19 million salary. You'll have to pay Nico Collins in a couple of years. So, things will change, and you'll have to then start paying people, and then you could get rid of him. But they've got a year or two that they can hang on to him as long as – now, his numbers have gone down, okay? And last year was one of his lowest numbers pretty much per catch average for the season. He had some drop passes. So, I saw my boy Omar tweet, oh, maybe he can do for CJ what he did for Josh Allen. And I said, well, yeah, problem is, Omar, he's 30 now, not 27. And, it's a different ball game. They might get a little success out of him in that first year. That's about it. And who knows? If he doesn't get enough balls thrown his way, he may not even be happy about that either. So it's kind of it's an interesting story, and it just shows you where the Bills are. And we've seen this over the years. Windows open and close for teams. The salary cap pretty much does not allow you. New England was able to do it with Brady for a long time, and Brady didn't take max money at times, and all that kind of stuff benefited them for a while, and then eventually they got, the gravy train ended. He left and won a title for somebody else, and New England never recovered from that shit again. So that's what I would tell you. That's one where I don't know. Anyway, what do we got here? Nyborg, I see, is first. Heat survived last night. Survived? Would you call it survived? They led by 10 most of the second half. Terrible Terry was killing
them. Get it to 3, and then Hayward hit the 3. So, I mean, however you want to look at it. I mean, survived.
They won that game.
They won. I mean,
they won that.
If they would have lost, it would have been upsetting that
they controlled that game
yes.
from beginning to end. Yes. I would not. That's the wrong adjective to say survived. Okay, survived is when you went back and forth and you were trailing and you were all this and that. Dude, they led from the get-go. How many leads did the Knicks have?
I got close a couple times, but nothing major to where you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just had that 1-3, then Hayward hit the 3, and then that was.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it survived. I wouldn't call it survived. Yeah, they won. Terry carried them last night. He carried them last night. He was good. Steven Gonzalez is in. He's worried about the Panthers, and we all should be right now because it's just not good. Last time I checked, Stolarz played last night.
The problem to me, and you talked about Paul Maurice yesterday, is like we make the trade and then he changes everything around. I don't understand. I guess
the line changes?
Yeah, maybe you do that during the season because you had such a big lead, and then now but at some point you got to get back to what got you, the lines that got you here.
Right.
Is what you need to do and quit playing with this shit. You're not Spo.
Yeah, he's trying to
you're not the guy making yeah, it's just like I get if somebody gets hurt, you want to be able to play different lines, but they were working.
Yeah. Ray says, afternoon. Oh, he beat Knicks and depressed their fans, and Diggs gets traded. Not too bad. They've got to be like crushed in Buffalo. Obviously it's a give and take because he's a pain in the ass. So some people don't like him already, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you kind of need him only because he's the best thing you've got right out there.
Well, you saw what happened on the one tweet last night, or the X, right, where he responds back, really?
Yeah,
when they're talking about Josh didn't need him or something.
Hey,
He's
are
like,
you
really?
sure?
Oh yeah, are you sure? That's right.
Are you sure? So yeah, Captain Saki is out in Tarpon Springs doing his thing, watching the show. Thank you, sir. He says, bad weather today, so no fishing. That means another day to enjoy your show live. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir. Thank Blue Dodgers. Adolfo in there. Big O Elephant Ears. Yes, sir. Brian Landis. Cosa Nostra. Tua forging his craft. Yep. New QB coach. Good QB coach. I'm not worried about Tua. He's always going to do everything he needs to do to become a better player. I'm worried more about Mike McDaniel becoming a better coach. Stetson O is in. Vishal, Daniel Berry, John Padilla. Regardless of what Bills are doing, Dolphins have to take care of business. That's right. No more excuses, dude. It's time to acknowledge our crypto chief. What's up, Steven? Thank you, sir. Eric Simon, Dimelo O, be there. The fair. That's right. David in. Let me see. Jay Skursky sounds like one of the super fans, the Bills. Nah, he is a Buffalo News reporter. Big O, I'm chilling at work, eating Panda Express, listening to your show. Christopher in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. All the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA. Northern California, where the girls are warm, so I can hear my sweet baby say, yeah, keep on rocking me, baby. Keep on rocking me, baby. Baby, 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 keep on rocking. All right, so rock it out in Phoenix, Arizona. AFC East will not be a powerhouse division next year. Yes, it will. It's got the Dolphins. I disagree. David Van Halen says some of the delusional talk show hosts here in New York think the Jets will win the division and Finns took major steps back in the season. Yeah, well, that's what they're supposed to think. They also thought they were going to be the shit last year. This isn't a hot take. Miami better win the division. The only reason why they aren't the favorites to win the East is because the Bills have won in 5 straight seasons. Otherwise, Miami has the talent to win. I agree. No more excuses, bro. If you're healthy, you have no excuses. You better win. Yes, sir.
Did you see the incentive money that came out for the NFL?
No.
Like the leader was, I believe, Purdy. Like he almost made as much on the incentives as he did on his regular contract.
Oh, yeah.
And then it went all the way down to the person that made the least. Aaron Rodgers made $81.24 in incentives, playing 3 plays.
That's funny. That's funny.
Is that one night in the dark room?
Yeah, maybe. Couple hours.
Couple hours, maybe.
Couple hours.
Right.
Something like that. Jesus. Anyway, that guy's stealing money. That's for sure. Isaiah says, can I get a birthday shout out for my little girl? She turned 16. Yeah, but you got to give me her name. You can't give just a happy birthday, little girl, 16. It's kind of odd. You know what I'm saying, Isaiah? So, yeah, happy birthday, little girl. Happy birthday, Emily. Happy birthday, Emily. Happy 16th birthday
to you.
To you. There you go. Enjoy your 16th birthday. I think it only comes around once. Not sure. I think it only happened to me one time. So, enjoy. Let's see if the Dolphins stay healthy. Are they locked for the division? They better. They better. Or Mike McDaniel's not going to enjoy this show. Let's see. Don't forget my quarters for washing my clothes on base. I pulled the low-income bracket out of the hat during the Secret Santa hour. Is he talking to us, or does he think he's chatting with somebody else and he accidentally chatted here or something? I already talked about the ripple effects, buddy. You got that Cruz Ruiz? Rosendo gives us all a happy afternoon. Bring you the happiness and contentment that you deserve. Arcade, car wash, and laundromat. Is that somewhere back there? I don't know. Is it? Okay. Or they got a free plug then. I think that's what Share Bear wants to do. Big O, is that hat from Boston? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's from the concert. I bought it at a Boston concert years ago. Isaiah says, thanks, bro. She loved it. Well, thank you, Emily, for watching the show. Thank you for supporting us. Don't forget to hit that like button. The Heat can do damage in the playoffs. Well, let's hope so, because they didn't do any damage in the regular season. Let's see. Jamie Zorrilla out in San Jose. I went whale watching yesterday and was great. But unfortunately, when I saw them, it reminded me of the horrible logo. And it reminds everybody to smash that like button. Lisa Rose in the house. I like it. All right. All right. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Why don't we? The great Alan Blanco. Tonight, InterMiami Concacaf Champions Cup. They take on Monterrey, 8 p.m. InterMiami plus 100 at in the money line, and Monterrey plus 230 on the money line. He's got to be playing. That's what they saved him for. And he's not going to play on Saturday, and they'll save him for the following Wednesday against Monterrey. That's what they're going to do, and that's what they should do. You can't have them play on Wednesday, Saturday. I mean, it just, they're already doing it with Suarez, which is king-size stupidity. They really don't know how to balance.
Where are they at in the table in MLS right now?
I think they were second still.
They're still okay.
Yeah, because they're picking up points.
Yeah, that's right. Because it was a tie. Yeah, so you could. Yeah. Okay.
They got the draw. They got the point.
Well, they'll start dropping down further because then.
Right, and that's when panic sets in.
Yeah, a little bit
but
more.
Right now they could get by, but dude,
if you're holding.
And the other night, poor Suarez, he couldn't score if it wasn't a header.
Yeah.
It was the frustrating. Like, Suarez will never miss that many goals again in his entire life. I don't care if he's 75 years old. He won't miss that many goals. Anyway, 8 p.m. tonight.
Like a pitcher, when you throw him too much, his arm gets raggedy and he can't just make a goal.
Yeah. Heat over the Knicks, 109-99. Terry Rozier, 34 points. He carried them, dude. That was awesome. Tomorrow, they take on Philly, 7:30, and Embiid is back. And on the ice, the Panthers continue to stink out the place. They lost to the Canadians 5-3. Stolarz, 34 saves. They've got Ottawa tomorrow on the road. They got to get their crap straightened out. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call Alan Blanco at 786-618-1443.
Still no damn Whopper Jr.
Yes. Oh, that's right. And I forgot to add that the Marlins lost.
You don't need to. Again. You don't need to put that on the scoreboard. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset that we haven't had a Whopper Jr. yet. One. All I'm asking for is one Whopper Jr. Marlins.
But hold on a second. But don't you have to have a ticket? How is it that you get the Whopper Jr.? If they win, don't you?
Listen, I don't have to have a ticket to get Papa John's 50% off. If the Marlins are pulling. If the Marlins are pulling that junk,
I don't know.
I mean, man, you can't give me a $3.50 sandwich.
I can't tell you how the promotion goes. I'm not exactly sure.
Because I know whenever the Heat win, everybody wins. Heat fans win.
Okay, so what do they use? A code?
Yeah, it's like Heat 50 or something like that.
Okay, I see. Mm-hmm. Is they doing the same thing with the Marlins? Is it a code?
I don't know. Marlins never won. They haven't had to give out the code yet.
Because if it's just tickets, it's like they're only going to give away like 10 of them every win, whenever they have wins.
Yeah, but.
Bro, and you played the Angels and the Pirates.
Going to Cardinals now. St. Louis, baby.
Now, you could have been gifted two easier teams to play. Bro, that second home run by Trout in that game.
Sorry, the real son. Heat wins is the code.
Heat wins.
I haven't used it in a while, so last time I used it was Heat 50.
Yeah, we're not into that kind of food often now. Although I can't wait for my elephant ear. Oof, that's going to be good when I get that elephant ear. Oh, man. Elephant ears. So good. So good. Marlins they're 0-7. No, 3 against the Angels and 4 against the Pirates. Not 0-8. Chris, can you wait till tomorrow, bro? Yeah. What the hell are you doing, Chris? Can we just wait for we lose the next game before you give us 0-8? Oh, yeah. Big time. And it's Tannehill. Some guy just screamed at me. He goes, Big O, you were wrong about Tannehill. He turned out to be a great quarterback. Obviously, sarcasm. I said, yep, and it's Tannehill. Oh, you got to love it. Although we did give him a name that sticks with him here in this town. Lots of people really know him as Tannehill. Killing your drive, killing your season, killing your players, killing your playoff chances, killing hope. There's a lot of killing. It's a lot of killing. Just ask a tight end that lost his entire career thanks to Ryan's lack of accuracy. Anyway, so let's do it. Give us a minute, and Matt Verderam will join us. We got some NFL news, right? Stefon Diggs traded. His beloved Kansas City Chiefs holding a gun to the city. Give me new Diggs, or we're out of here. And not Stefon. Back in a minute.
Be there, be there, be there. Be there, there, be there. Be there, be there. Be there, be there. Be there, there, be there. Be there, there, be there. Be there, be there.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. There he is, the man from Sports Illustrated, getting it done as always. Matt Verderam. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. How you doing, Matt? How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. So before we get to the Diggs talk, let's talk about the Kansas City Diggs. What's going on, bro? Like, championship, established there forever, moved from Dallas because, they had to move the league ahead and everything. And now we're hearing about some threats, possibly. They're not getting money. They just shot it down as a vote. Tell me, man, what the hell is going on there? That's kind of odd.
I mean, this stuff always kills me. So it got Jackson County, where the Chiefs and the Royals both play in Missouri. It got put to a vote essentially whether or not they would extend this tax that would have gone for another 40 years. It's 3/8 cent tax. And it would have helped pay for all these renovations for Arrowhead, and it would have put the Royals downtown. Because you're not familiar with where they play in Kansas City, like the Truman Sports Complex, where both Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead Stadium are, they're pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's nothing around them except for a freeway.
Right.
And so, which is common in the 70s when they built these stadiums. So what they're doing
Now it's the reverse. Now they
Yeah.
want to go to the suburbs.
everybody wants to be downtown. And in Kansas City, what the teams want, the Royals want to go downtown. The Chiefs don't want to go downtown. The Chiefs want to have the parking lot the size of Texas and build their own little village there, and they can be the barbecue capital of the world basically on Sundays.
Right.
So this thing gets voted down about 60-40, somewhat surprisingly. However, I will honestly, I was not surprised. Now, my prediction immediately last night was, you know what's going to happen now? The Chiefs and the Royals are going to split on this whole thing. It's not going to be a joint project anymore. The Chiefs are going to say, the hell with the Royals. We're going to do this ourselves. And that's exactly now what is the expectation, is that it's going to become two separate things. The Royals, I think, are going to have a much tougher time because they've been garbage for the latter part of
and they don't give a shit about winning.
No, I mean, they were good for like 3 years. And other than that, the last 4
It's
years.
the same Marlin bullshit.
Yeah.
You brought up a bunch of young guys. You won a championship,
and then they sold off the whole team.
And then you sold off the whole team. You bunch of idiots. And it's
they're going to have a much tougher time, I think, with this. Once the Chiefs split from the Royals, which is that I think, look, they're going to haggle. The problem with the Chiefs proposal is the Chiefs, look, to go to Arrowhead is already a ridiculous expense. I mean, it's an insane price to get into that stadium. But people pay it because they're great. But now the whole thing is like, hey, we're going to add a parking deck and we're going to add end zone suites that nobody can afford. And we would like for the city to pay for the majority of it. And the city has essentially said to Clark Hunt, go scratch. We're not doing that. I think what's going to happen is they're going to modify it. The Hunts will kick in a little more money. They'll split from the Royals. But I don't think there's any real oh my God, they might relocate. I mean, the worst thing, actually not the worst, the most interesting thing that can happen. The state of Kansas is sitting there going, oh God, please leave Missouri because we'll take you on the state line of Kansas City and we'll make a fortune. Which is why Missouri's legislation is going to end up figuring this out because they don't want to lose all that money. I think the biggest relocation would be 10 miles west, essentially. I don't think there's any real shot they leave. The Royals, I don't think are going to leave, but that's a more dicey proposition.
Yeah, I would never make any kind of public-private partnership ever with teams like the Royals, teams like the Marlins. Like that was a disaster here.
I agree. And I think it failed because of that. I think it's just like the fans were like, well, we're not going to support the Royals. They haven't supported us for 40 some odd years.
No, you want to make a public-private partnership with Mickey Harrison? Okay, go ahead, dude.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Right.
That guy's going to bring in Shaq and LeBron, and he's going to spend when he has to spend, and he'll go get Butler and all that, and he'll try to win, and at least they'll try every year. At least that's what public-private partnership does for you. But if the private part of it is, Jeffrey Loria or what's the name of the family that owns the Royals?
Sherman, John Sherman.
Yeah, forget it. Oh, yeah, we have a Sherman here with our Marlins. Now, you know what I mean? It's like another cheapo. We got that guy has 14 partners. I knew right away it was going to be
never good.
Never.
The more partners,
one man, one woman, or a family.
Yes,
that's it. Or maybe like the Panthers that have two rich dudes, and Viola's like the 90% share, and Seafood's like 10 or something. Yeah. But it's like Viola's worth billions and billions. That's when you have real ownership, the ones that can cut a check and laugh at you in their face. Oh, what do you need? 50 million? Yeah, no, here you go. That's it. Now get out of my face. Yeah, that's nothing. Get out of here. I'm dealing with billions right now. Get out of here. That's when you have real leadership in pro sports. It has to be a toy for them. In other words, it cannot be the Rooney thing and all, bro. That ship sailed. That shit doesn't exist unless you want to be the guy from the Raiders, and guess what he is?
Yeah,
tight. Right. He's constantly tight. Why? Because he's really not a big ass. He doesn't have other shit going on.
Well, that's the reality is, in pro sports, you don't want 18 guys having to try to cut a check. You want one guy with a checkbook. You want one guy making the call. Now, every once in a while you have somebody who's insane, who's the one guy making the call. Okay, David Tepper, that's not great, but that's better than, because you're right. That's better than when 9 guys are involved. I mean, look, everybody here knows.
And there's a money call. and they're all like checking their pockets.
Yeah, right.
And bunnies are showing up. And
That's
it's
why
like,
by the way, that's why Pat Riley's in Miami and not New York. Okay.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
the Knicks in the 90s, when I was a kid, went through a million different iterations of, Cablevision getting involved and the Garden was involved. And like Riley was just freaked out by it. It was
yeah,
like,
he wanted control. He wanted
I
control.
want to get the hell out of here unless you give me some control, and they wouldn't do it.
Right.
And that led to the Knicks losing last night indirectly, I'm sure, some way, somehow.
Rozier was sick last night, dude.
He really could have used Anunoby last night, but he's had an elbow injury that apparently just won't go away forever. So it is what it is.
Yeah. No, they just they got to get and also you watch the game. Brunson had the nightmarish game of all nightmarish games. He was completely out of sync the entire time. He'll never play another game like that the rest of the season.
That was my worst game he's played, honestly.
Yeah, it was. There was a part of me going, dude, were you like banging babes last night at South Beach or something? Were you like,
He had a tough night.
Did you have I get it at South Beach, but you kind of played like you're a little hungover, like you got a lot of tail last night, you got a little worn out or something, because it was a gift from God that he was completely out of tune last night.
I think they're as a team, because Randall and Anunoby have been out so long, I think they're a little bit worn out right now. They just need a little bit, like they need a couple of days of like just rest, but you don't get that with Tibbs. Now look at it for the playoffs, and Anunoby should be
grinds your ass.
Yeah. I mean, the flip side is DiVincenzo's turned into a guy who scores 30 every other night, and McBride, who was like just some random guy in the bench, is now just pouring in like 20 a night. I don't know where the hell that came from, but
he can shoot. He can shoot, dude.
He can, he never could ever. And now all of a sudden he hits everything. It's incredible.
Well, because you get a lot of these guys so young, they're unproven, they're still unpolished, and then if the right coaching gets them, you end up turning Caleb Martin into a decent player, or Duncan Robinson or whatever. Because nowadays, actually, scouting is more important than ever, because you have so little information on these guys. And so now you have to like almost project, and then you also need exceptional development. If you have that, and you've got a chance, because that's how this damn team survives all the time. They find ways, and Highsmith is another guy they've developed off the bench, and it's like, yo, man, where the hell do you guys find these people? That guy. But you will never see another game where Jalen Brunson is constantly dribbling off his leg and somebody else's leg, and the passes were like completely off or something. I swear, dude, it was just like, it was the weirdest. It was like, wait a minute, is he hanging around with that Raptors player? What's going on here? Was there a player prop that he had 5 turnovers last night? It was
a tough night. I'll tell you what, though, not as tough of a day as the Bills are having.
Oh, dude, that is
Western New York having a tougher day than Southern New York.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I started off the show with this: Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel. I don't want to hear any more excuses.
No,
the Bills are depleted. The Jets are old. Last time I checked, it's a 40-year-old quarterback with a repaired Achilles on the same turf, not with a great offensive line. What has really changed? Whatever. And everybody in the world is better than New England. You better win the division now. You better win the division now. That's what I'm telling you. You better go out there and get it done. Now you have no more excuses. Quite frankly, the offseason the Bills have had is enough to set them back. You should have won the division last year, and you choked it out.
Yes.
This year, you better win it. So for me, the Diggs thing is message to the Dolphins. No more excuses, bro. No more excuses.
Well,
big heat coming your way if you don't get it done.
You're to a point with the Bills this offseason where some of the names that I'm going to say are bigger than maybe their play at this point, but some of them are not. They've lost Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Stefon Diggs, Mitch Morse, Gabe Davis, Tre'Davious White, Leonard Floyd. I mean, that is, and pretty much brought nobody in. Like Curtis Samuel has like been the big signing. Okay. Right. I mean, if they lined up tomorrow, and they're not lining up tomorrow, but if they did, their offense would be okay. Cook in the backfield and Kincaid at tight end, which is fine. That's good.
Solid.
3 wide receiver set would be Shakir, who's a number 3 receiver, Curtis Samuel, who's a number 3 receiver, maybe a 2 with Allen. And then I have no idea. I don't even know who the third guy would be. Trent Sherfield's gone. I literally couldn't even tell you who the third guy would be right now.
Right. Yeah.
That's where you are with the Bills. Allen is going to and God only knows who's starting at center. Like, they are to a point where, look, this is they don't want to say this, and they won't say this because they can't. It's the NFL. This is a reloading year for the Bills. It just is.
Of course.
I mean, they did not draft well for years, and now they're in a spot where these guys, they got old, they got slow, they got expensive. The Diggs thing's a catastrophe. To have to eat $31 million of dead money on a guy that has 4 more years is bonkers. I mean, you know how badly they wanted to get rid of him to do that?
Yeah.
You know how bad.
The good thing for Houston is they only have to tolerate him per year because they have no signing bonus. Now
Correct.
it is 18 and 19 million. He is 30 years old. His numbers have declined. He had drop passes. This is not really the kind of player I would put around a young quarterback that I want to, grow into. But go ahead and do whatever you want. You're making a run. I get it.
It's weird. It's kind of a funny thing. As I was thinking about that, like, sometimes you have trades that are win-wins. I definitely would rather be Houston in this trade because Buffalo, I mean, like, you're eating $31 million dead cap. You have no number one receiver, and you didn't even get a pick for this year. Like, that's brutal. Okay. Right. But Houston, you could argue, like, is it a little overkill at receiver? Like, you have Dell and Collins, you have Schultz. If you were going to offer up a package and pay a guy, now you would have had to give up a lot more than what you gave up for Diggs. But, like, why not call up Denver and be, hey, how about Patrick Surtain? Like, put him with Stingley, or call Denver up and say, hey, look, we'll take Cortland Sutton, and you're not even giving up anywhere near what you gave up for Diggs, monetarily or in draft capital. Like, that's the only question. Because the one thing with Diggs last year, he was awful after week 6. Like, he was hideous after week. Now, is that because of all the crap going on behind the scenes? Is it because he fell off a cliff age-wise? But that all being said, to your point, yes, if you're the Dolphins and you don't win the division this year, I don't want to hear about you as a contender anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're done.
Come on now. Like, Waddle and Hill are light years better than anybody catching the ball for Josh. Josh Allen at this point, he basically has a tight end and a guy he can hand the ball off to, and that is it.
Yeah.
And that defense isn't even that good. Like, their defense is okay. It's fun, but it's not great. Like, if the Dolphins can't overtake them this year, it's not good.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely horrible look. Speaking of horrible looks, Rashee Rice, bro.
Not good. Not what you're looking for.
Wow. What the hell, bro? I mean, I get what he did, because by walking away, you really can't prove whether he was driving. You can't find out how drunk he was, if he was drunk. So, I kind of understand the strategy behind what he did, even though charges will be, for leaving the scene of a crime and all that kind of stuff. That's going to, scene of a crash, that is. That's going to be a problem for him overall. But, like, if you're Kansas City, how do you move forward with this guy? How can you rely on him, moving forward? And you kind of know what became a priority in the draft now for Kansas City.
Yeah. Look, I mean, so this is one of these things where I look at the history of the team to try to see what I think is going to happen. Now, I will say this with this Rice thing. There's still a lot of really unclear.
Oh, wait, so they're trading him to Miami.
Yeah, right. He'll be there tonight. There's a lot of parts of this that are really unclear. Like, the one thing I want to know, which I think everybody wants to know, is, was he driving one of these cars? It's been established he wasn't driving the Corvette because he was in the Lamborghini, but was he driving the Lamborghini? And I've seen a lot of people say, well, he didn't get out of the driver's side door. And it's like, yeah, nobody did. Okay, that's the point here. Like, I have not, if anybody's seen footage, I have not seen footage. I have not been able to ascertain, like, whether he was driving or wasn't driving. Now, I'll say this to be clear. Whether or not he was driving, he still fled the scene. And he was still,
because of that, right there,
at least involved to some extent here. Okay. The NFL, unless there is some, like, bombshell that we're unaware of here that exonerates him, which I can't imagine there is, he needs to get suspended. Now, if it comes out like either they can't prove or they do prove he wasn't driving, I think it's less than if he was driving.
Right.
But I still think, like, if he wasn't driving, now we all know the NFL suspensions, God only knows. This could be a range of anything.
Yeah.
I would think it's a couple of games, something like that. If he was driving, it's probably more like 4 to 6 games, something like in that neighborhood. Let's put it this way. He is unbelievably fortunate nobody got seriously hurt.
Yes, exactly.
The video of that was insane. Like
Bad.
he's so lucky nobody died, nobody got maimed, that they got God willing that nobody was really hurt in one of those cars when they walked away from it. They didn't know that. Somebody could have been trapped in there fighting for their lives. Look, it's a horrible look. Now, that said, with the Chiefs, this is a team that drafted Tyreek Hill knowing his background and had no issue taking him. Okay. This is a team that traded for Frank Clark when Frank Clark had a background, then got suspended with the Chiefs. Not for any kind of assault, but for a gun charge, excuse me. And he got suspended there. This is a team that brought in Charles Omenihu, and he was suspended the first 6 games of his Chiefs career, and they knew he was going to get suspended for off the field ugliness. So the Chiefs, I don't even think the Chiefs are going to blink in terms of like whether or not they keep Rashee Rice. It's going to be a matter of sitting him down and being like, hey man, maybe don't do something where you're in this type of position again. But the Chiefs have never shied away from guys in this year who have character issues. They have not. I mean, they don't. I mean, Kadarius Toney has been a guy who has put himself in hot water off the field, not so much legally, but just in general.
And he came with the knucklehead from Florida,
and he's still there.
He came from Florida with that
baggage, yeah. And yet, so I don't think Rashee Rice is going to be like off the team or anything. I think it's more likely than not he's suspended to some degree. And you hope for the kid, it is a learning, like, hey man, I've got to grow up. That would be you would hope, but time will tell.
And let me tell you something. If you're not driving and you're responsible for 2 of the cars,
right,
you actually take over and say, hey, no, I got it, guys. Okay. Or, whatever, because you got your fall guy already. The fact that you ran away
not good
automatically says you were driving and now you're setting up your fall guy at this point. So one of his friends is going to have to take the fall for that. And so it's kind of, to me, you're already as guilty as hell just by running away.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you didn't run away because you weren't driving, you could assume responsibility for everything. You're the guy with the money. You're the guy that the entourage is following you. They're there for you, not anybody else. So it's your job. So the fact that you ran away from everything and the responsibility is it's an absolutely negative for him. That I don't know how you trust that moving forward.
I don't know that you do.
On it. That's why I said that there'll be a package of what's it called? Rashee Rice getting sent because all your troubled receivers will be traded to Miami. And so we'll take them.
I think, I see, Jermaine was saying in the chat that I'm looking at that he should be suspended for the year. I don't think he's getting suspended for a year.
No shot.
No, I mean, no way. No, I think the most
maybe if they get the video and there was injuries, like serious injuries, and him driving, then he's gone for the year because there'll be criminal charges.
Right. That being said,
this is all traffic charges.
Look, if somebody had been seriously hurt, I know Jermaine also said someone had to go to the hospital, but to my understanding, all the report was that they were all minor injuries. Look, let's be clear about this. He's unbelievably lucky. Somebody could have gotten killed in this, and then we're having an entirely different conversation.
Of course.
But thank God nobody did. And so now it's going to be a lot of, is there a misdemeanor charge? And the other thing that, look, it just is what it is. It's reality. I don't know, and nobody knows yet what charges will be filed against him, if any, and can it be proven he was driving the car? That's the thing. Because if he's a passenger, yes, he left the scene, and that's awful. Nobody in their right mind would condone it. I just don't know, legally, I'm not a lawyer, but legally speaking, if he can't be proven he was behind the wheel, it becomes really hard from a legal perspective to nail him to the wall on something like this. Now, the league doesn't need to wait for legalities. The league can sit there and say, hey, look, put us in a bad light, all the, protect the shield, all that stuff. But if it can't be proven he's driving, I don't know that he gets more than a couple games, something like that. But you could look. The bottom line is you hope he learns from it, but he's really fortunate because being involved in any capacity in this is insanely dumb.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. What do you got going on so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah. Right now, everything at SI is transferring over to our new licensee holder, the Minute Media. So I am I think literally after this gets over, I'm going to sign my new contract and then go over there. So I think next week you'll probably start seeing my stuff again. It'll be all, look, I have, I'll put this out there. So every year everyone does a mock draft and they're terrible and they're boring. And I hate mock drafts with a passion. Okay. But people always in the comments like, why do we write these? And I'm like, well, because you're in the comments. That's why. I have decided to and
be honest, it's because your bosses asked for it.
So last year, my boss, who's awesome, I went to him. I'm like, look, man, can I just make fun of mock drafts and trade every single pick in the first round? And then every single pick has to be traded. Trade has to make sense, but every pick's got to be traded. And he thought it was funny and we did it and it actually performed well. So I'm doing it again. And all trades mock draft, every single pick in the first round is being traded. It's chaos. And so you can keep an eye out for that. That's right. The Bears don't get Caleb Williams. They trade out of the pick. So we got that going on. We got, just some typical offseason stuff. I'll have some columns coming. My podcast on Patreon, so I know it's Chiefs leaning, so that might not be the most thrilling thing for Dolphins fan. Although I did do a thing that's fun digs today over on Patreon, the Matt Verderam Show. You can find me everywhere and also at Matt Verderam on Twitter.
All right. And I threw out a scenario for the Dolphins. Okay. I threw out a scenario where the Niners at 15, they trade in with the Colts and they get Brandon Ayuk. Now, the Colts actually do need another receiver. They got Richardson, right?
Right.
So they get Ayuk. And then at 16, Miami sees that Brock Bowers is still there and trades up from 21 to 16 with the Seahawks to get Brock Bowers. What do you think about that?
That would be
impossible.
Hard. I don't think he gets past the Jets, but if he got there, no, it's not impossible. If he got there, I think the Dolphins should run the card up as fast as humanly possible. I mean, Brock Bowers is ridiculous.
Yeah, he would be awesome. Yeah, but I think he goes earlier than that when it's all said and done. But I was having some fun with Dolphin fans going, hey, they do need a receiver. San Fran can't re-sign everybody, so they're going to have to part ways with Brandon Ayuk. And so that gives Richardson a pair of nasty receivers to help a young quarterback.
Right.
They've got Flacco, so they can kind of bring everything along slowly.
Right.
And
to quickly add to that little train of thought for you, maybe you included this. Colts and Niners with these two GMs have made a big trade before. Buckner going for the Niners to the Colts.
That's right.
So they have a relationship. These guys have a relationship that's worked out for them in the past.
There you go. There you go. So if it happens, you know where you heard it first. That we threw the craziness out there. So we'll see what you have in store for us at 21 in a trade.
That's right.
Okay. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderam. Matt, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you as always.
Hey, thanks a lot, Big O. Take care.
You got it, baby. There you go. Matt Verderam, Sports Illustrated, or it's going to be called something else now. I don't know. Well, I think no, it'll be Sports Illustrated. I'm just joking. It'll just have a new company that'll own it. But it's anyway. So yeah, it'll be some company that owns them and owns other companies, like they all do. Corporations that just chomp others up. Anyway, give us 2 minutes. We'll start off hour number 2 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, InterMiamiCF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We are back, baby. The Youth Fair. Yes, sir. Over 80 rides, over 130 food stands. The wife is getting me an elephant ear as we speak. So I am looking forward to that. We thank Matt Verderam. By the way, we always like talking about MVPs, right? And I got to go with our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
The obvious, Terry Rozier last night, 8 of 11. He was red hot. He was hitting threes that were fading to the left, fading to the back. You know, he was just doing anything and everything. 8 of 11, 34 points last night for Terry Rozier. Just an absolute monster night. And a guy that, you know, I know he has his moments at times, but here's one thing I think Terry Rozier will end up becoming. The best player he can possibly ever be in a Miami Heat uniform. So I think you're just starting to scratch the surface at seeing him develop into the best Terry Rozier he can possibly be. And I know some people question, it was kind of a desperate trade and this and that. I thought Ira a couple of weeks ago in one of our interviews nailed it when I was talking about how Jimmy can't carry anymore. And he goes, yeah, that's why they had to trade for Terry because they knew they needed some help and they didn't have enough instant firepower. And he adds that. He has that potential. And he's durable and he plays and a lot more durable than Tyler Hero, who's unavailable again tomorrow night. So last night, his 34 points was a beautiful performance, just like William Quigley and the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. You want the best in landscaping? You call them. Tree trimming and removals, outdoor lighting, artificial turf, you name it, they get it done. Cutter's Edge Pro. Go to their Instagram page and check out some of the work. They did incredible work at our house. We even got a putting green and everything. It's absolutely amazing. Cutter's Edge Pro.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right. Appreciate you all out there. As always, don't forget, Welt and Rayom, a proud sponsor of our program. You can call Jeff Welt. And if you're dealing with bankruptcy, which I hope you're not, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. And folks, when it comes to homeowner property damage and condo damage and water damage, that can happen not only in hurricane season, but at any time we get storms. Look what the West Coast, now the Midwest, and then the East Coast is dealing with that storm that's crossing over and everywhere, man. You got to be prepared just in case. And the first thing we do is call the insurance companies. That's the last thing we're supposed to do. You got to call the lawyers that can help you, and they have their own adjusters, Welton Rayom. So that way they send their own adjusters. So then when they call the insurance company for you, they're checking everything. Oh, they're P's and Q's, baby. Making sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted. And trust me, insurance companies hate it when a lawyer calls them. They like it when you and I call. So call Welton Rayom. I saw it firsthand against Progressive. They freaking crushed them. 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. All right. Yes, Frankie, no vending machines today. We're in the front. We were at a different place. No pig races today, which we will be doing it now, right? 5 o'clock? Yeah, just ended, yeah. So, yep. Let's see. What do we have on the chat board? Afternoon from Central Florida. Big O, we just got through a hell of a storm. Hope you have another great show as usual. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Hang in there. It's crazy, man. Yeah, Sean.
I don't know if this is something you saw already or maybe this just came out, but ESPN just sent out an article. The women's NCAA Final Four tickets sold for double the price of the men's, averaging $2,323.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Caitlin Clark effect.
Yeah. She's the juice, dude. She's the juice. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Those Chiefs players should have looked at what happened with Britt Reed, Andy's son, who injured 6 people on the DUI charge. Yeah, but he also put a little girl in a coma and all that. Nobody got in a coma in this. He got lucky, bro. He got lucky and nobody got seriously injured. He's super lucky. That's what's going to save his ass. I like Matt. He's the most objective and reasonable Knicks fan that hasn't called Bam a dirty player. Laws should be more tougher on driving under the influence of alcohol and smoking marijuana on the road and texting and driving. Yeah, but, you know, our laws aren't tough enough, period. We've talked about that many times, especially with gun laws. They're just not tough enough. Big O, do you ever wonder why athletes always do stupid stuff off the field? Is it because they're under a microscope or is it testosterone thing? It's, Karun, it's just that they feel they're invincible and they can get away with it. That's all. It's really what it is. They just think they can get away with it. So, you know. Let's see. What else do we have going on? The other thing I see, Mark Kabali, I think is how it's pronounced, from The Athletic. And this guy, Chris Rollins, USA Today, they were putting out a story about several teams, including the Dolphins, interested in Tyler Boyd. And I got to tell you something, and I told you this already, I think when it started or some shit like that, or maybe right before it. But I told you guys this. Tyler Boyd is looking for money. He's going for his last contract. I believe he's 29, if I'm correct. And the Miami Dolphins are mentioned only because they're kind of out there for Odell and stuff like that. But I think he'll take more money from a lesser team. I don't think he wants to just win. You know? Let me put my glasses back on when I'm not reading. I got the glare right in front of me. Anyway, so I just want you all to know that, I get it, man. People have to aggregate and they're desperate for content and they got to talk about all this stuff. And I kind of almost feel like the guy that always has to put like cold water on this, right? Sucks. But I don't think there's any truth to it. Now, if he ends up by some chance taking some kind of a, discounted deal, well, then I'm wrong, but I don't think he's going to do that. I think he wants money and he doesn't care where he gets it from. So the Dolphin talk, I just want you to know about Tyler Boyd. Don't get your hopes up too high. The Odell one, you have more of a chance because people aren't lining up to sign Odell. That's the good thing. You know what I mean? So I think you got the Odell thing much better than Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, I think, is really after money. Okay? And I think that Odell will go after money if somebody's stupid enough to offer it. Right now, nobody is stupid enough to offer it. Okay? So there you go to crush the Tyler Boyd effect. Frankie Fresco, AEW Wednesday. Daddy Ass? Okay. Daddy Ass or Jay White? It's kind of a Daddy Ass. Why is he called Daddy Ass?
He used to be called Mr. Ass and Billy Gunn. He was in the WWE. Then his sons are now the Guns, in the Austin and Colton Gunn. And he's with the Acclaimed, which is they do the scissoring. So they're like, scissor me, Daddy Ass. And the people walking by listening to this conversation are looking at us pretty oddly right now.
Well, yeah, no, of course. You're talking about Daddy Ass.
Daddy Ass.
And they're like, what is that? Is that wrestling?
Yes.
Or are you guys talking about something there?
What is this sports show talking about?
Is this guy chasing ass? Is that why he's called Daddy Ass?
He's about 54 years old.
Well, I'm going to go with Jay White just because I have a hard time picking anybody named Ass. So, it's kind of like ass to pick somebody ass.
What about Gun?
Well, there you go. You just got to get. That was the sign right there that flopped over the window.
Oh, I missed the sign. Oh, he fell down again.
That was a gunshot right there. Look at that good Samaritan. He's going to go inside at the youth fair and just fixes the sign. That's outstanding, fixing the sign right there. How about that? Very cool, fixing the sign. There you go. Very nice. But the wind took that. You know why? Because you got to put it the other way, so the wind cuts through it. Instead, kind of like our tent right now, the wind's cutting through it. Oh, we didn't put the back, huh?
I think we didn't do the back or the sides because we'd probably be flying away right now.
We were like, do we put the sides? Do we put the back? And we see the wind. And it's like, nah, let's stay as aerodynamic as possible.
Yeah, lighting wise, it would have probably been better, but us sitting here and still doing a show worked out very well.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Jay White tonight in AEW. All right, Frankie? Yes. Bro, if the Miami Dolphins don't take advantage of a weak AFC East this upcoming season, we got bigger problems than daddy ass decisions. You're right. You're right about that.
Actually, we're probably talking about ass decisions.
Right. Decisions that came from el culo. Right. I got you. Okay. That makes sense. So I'm going to go Jay White over daddy ass tonight in AEW. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean that way. Okay. Yeah, I know. I've been kind of in a funk lately with my wrestling picks. Yeah. It's kind of. What's up, man? You know it. There you go. Appreciate you all out there. As always, thank you all for supporting the show, however you support the show. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the notification bell, subscribe, all of those things. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin donation also. So you can do that. Help the show grow. As always, thank you all. What else do we have here? Okay. Rosendo likes to talk. He's a fan of the talking points that we're having. He doesn't think that our talking points are pure ass. It's kind of what happened.
He said, "Nice wrestling assessment."
Ah, there you go. I like that. Very nice. Very, very nice. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? How about this? Let me get to a little music and birthdays. Let's go with birthdays first and foremost today. Who is celebrating a birthday today? All right, let's go with Amanda Bynes is 38. Eddie Murphy, 63. Yep. Let's see. Alec Baldwin, 66. Marlon Brando was born in this date in 24. We lost him in 2004. Kobe Smulders, the TV actress. Have I Met Your Mother? 42. And John Wick. Right? Let's see. What else? Leona Lewis, pop singers, 39. Doris Day was born in this date in 22. Lost her in 2019. What else? Adam Scott, TV actor, is 51. Sam Kiska, bassist for Greta Van Fleet, is 25. Will Greer, 29. Jenny Garth. I'm a big Jenny Garth fan. She is 52 years old. The lovely and talented Jenny Garth. That alone was worth watching 90210, my brothers and sisters. That's all I can tell you. Jenny Garth was worth watching it every single time. Smoke show of smoke shows. And I'm a brunette guy. But there's always a few of those blondes that I got to give them props. And she is definitely one of those that I would give mad props to. Now, today in music history, on April 3rd, today in music history, in 94, a forthcoming tour by Nirvana and Hole was canceled, and continuing speculation about Kurt Cobain's drug problem. Back in 2003, on this date, Linkin Park hit number one on the album charts with their second record, Meteora. And that was their last great album. Hybrid Theory and then Meteora, and then it ended for them right there. After that, it was just like downhill all the way. In 69, on this date, Doors singer Jim Morrison turned himself into the FBI in Los Angeles. He was charged with 6 counts of lewd behavior and public exposure from a March 2nd concert in Miami. The rocker was later released on a $2,000 bail. In 91, Paul McCartney recorded an episode of MTV Unplugged. In 2003, on this date, tickets for the Beastie Boys Las Vegas benefit for Run DMC's Jam Master Jay sold out in 24 seconds. And in 75 on this date, police were called to Steve Miller's home. They were told he had set fire to his friend's clothes. Authorities arrived to find that the friend, Benita or Diorio, putting out the flames. But when they tried to take Miller into custody, the singer began fighting with the policemen. They charged Miller with resisting arrest. However, by the next day, Diorio asked for the charges to be dropped, and Miller was set free. And there you go. And that's what happened today in music history. There you go. I can go back to putting on the glasses. Uh-oh. The glare is going to start getting, it's going to get worse very soon. Very soon. You know, we should put the wall there. Yeah, only if the wind dies down, yeah. That's the only reason we can do it. The wind dies down. Jay Skursky, by the way, will join us at the top of the hour. Jay's a Bills beat writer, Buffalo News. So we'll talk to him, and we'll get the latest on everything going on in Buffalo, because I would imagine that there's some panic, and then there's some people that probably were like, well, were you really surprised he got traded? No, right? Were you really shocked? I mean, it's like you kind of expected Diggs to get traded. It wasn't something that you sat there and go, wow, but I never thought that they would part with Deebo Samuel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not going to happen, unless he's old and broken down. But in this case, you look at what's been going on and the way he's acted at times, and obviously it looks like him and Josh Allen or whatever, if there was some kind of disconnect. So it was there, and I don't think any of you really are shocked that he got traded. I think most of you are probably saying, wow, why didn't it happen sooner? By the way, prayers to the Taiwanese people after the earthquakes. The Midwest, the East Coast, dealing with all kinds of storms. Ecuador had a 5.1 earthquake yesterday also. So our prayers to all the folks that are obviously going through some rough patches in different parts of the world, man. It was a crazy day yesterday. And you know that when that earthquake is going on, there were like Chinese ships and planes hovering around Taiwan like vultures. It's a crazy day yesterday. All kinds of stuff. It may not happen right where you're at, but in different parts of the world, dude, crazy stuff. Greg Souza. Yeah, he made it. Yeah, he won it out. Exactly. I was more shocked than Daddy Ass was not your pick. Tyreek Hill getting traded now would be more surprising than Diggs. Yes. Yeah. They're not going to do that. There's no shot that happens. But yeah, that would be, the cap hit for that. That would be devastating for the Dolphins. They can't do that, All right, let's do this. Give me 2 minutes, rest of voice. We'll come back. When we come back, Dolphins did some good stuff yesterday. Really good news yesterday. We're going to break it down. And I don't think people realize how big this news was. We'll get to it in 2 minutes here on the Big O Radio Show live from the Youth Fair.
Be there, be there. Be there.
is the Big O Show. This 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 is.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing a personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. I got to talk a little Dolphins. Give me a second here, but before I talk Dolphins, I do want to tell you, Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume sales dealership in the United States, by the way. They've got the Spring into Performance sales event going on right now. They've got 1.9% financing up to 36 months now. And you can get the 2024 Integra for $299 a month, the RDX 2024 $419 a month, the MDX 2024 $489 a month. So make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you, I promise you, at the finest dealership in the business. And if you own an Acura, you can get it leased. You can get it serviced there. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber, they do an awesome job at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. By the way, Pat Mahomes looks like a cool guy, right? Right? He looks like a cool guy. Jackson Mahomes, he looks like a freaking asshole, right? A constant asshole. So, what do you think? How about Patrick Mahomes Sr.? Like, he got the good genes, not just the talent, but he got the whole package, bro. Because his brother's garbage, his dad now is facing a lengthy jail sentence after he was formally charged this week with his latest drunk driving case. He pitched in the majors from 92 to 2003, arrested February 3rd in Tyler, Texas, suspicion of driving while intoxicated. Records obtained by TMZ, Texas prosecutors formally charged Mahomes Sr. with felony DWI on Tuesday. The February DWI arrest is the third for the 53-year-old. His second came in 2018, resulted in a 40-day sentence, which the elder Mahomes served over the weekends in 19 and 20. And if Mahomes is convicted of his latest one, he will face a jail sentence up to 10 years and $10,000 fine. It's got to suck for Pat Mahomes to have to, that his brother and his dad are such pieces of shit. And you're constantly like, you're Patrick Mahomes and your dad and your brother are constantly in trouble, and you're the only one that carries the torch the right way. It's the weirdest thing. What an example of a father. Like, you would figure that your son's that successful and that popular that it would put more pressure on you. Like, okay, like, you used to represent me when you were a child. You're carrying my name and all that, like your dad or your mom will tell you, right? Well, now when you get older and you become the successful, responsible person, the roles need to be reversed as a parent. You're supposed to be the supportive one. You're supposed to be a foundational piece for your son or your daughter at this moment. And all he and Jackson are is an absolute albatross, dude, a burden and questions that he has to answer for responsibilities that he doesn't own at all because he can't control his dad or his brother. I feel bad for, because a famous person, that's, you and me, we have shitty, parents or siblings. Nobody finds out. Nobody cares. But famous people, forget about it, dude.
Not only that, but also in this day and age, and somebody said it in the chat too as well, is you've got Uber, you've got Lyft, there's so many ways to go about it. To get a DUI or a DWI in this day and age is like, you're just looking for trouble because it's going to find you if you keep doing it. You have so many options to get out of that situation, and you still find yourself in that situation.
And if you got busted 3 times for DUI,
yes,
how many times have you been on the road?
Oh, please. The fact that he did in 18, 19, and now he just got that, he's done it every time. He just never got caught up.
He just keeps getting away with it.
Yep.
But what an outright piece of shit. There's no other way. I'm not going to mince words here for that. If it was my daughter that was famous, I would make sure that I would represent her even better. And not that I've never had a DUI in my life, never will have a DUI in my life. One can happen to anybody, dude. I'll give a break to one. Okay. You thought you only had a couple beers, whatever, boom, bye. You take a breathalyzer test, you're barely over, whatever. I don't condone it at all. It's never happened to me. Hasn't happened to most of you. But one, dude, we're all human. Okay. Yeah. But now you have a second and you have a third and you have a fourth and, no, dude. No, there's no, as much as Dolphin fans like Bob Kuchenberg, I hate talking about the guy. Why? Because of that. Because he had 3 DUIs. Because he didn't give a crap about people. It's basically what you're saying when you're doing that. Because obviously somebody could die. Anyway, So I saw that during the break, and I was like, wow, this guy. I feel bad for Pat, man, having to carry his brother and his dad and all their baggage. Anyway, really good stuff yesterday for the Miami Dolphins as Kendall Lamm was re-signed to a one-year deal. And, a lot of people are saying, hey, it was a great move or good move. Miami Dolphins added depth. It's true. It's very true that they added depth. But didn't they add a starter? Right? Because last time I checked, he played, I think it's 16 or 17 games and started 8 and excelled. Did he not? Did he not play well? So he's a starter in this system. He found a home in this system with these coaches, and he excelled last year. This was a huge move, dude. Because we don't know if was it Conklin or something, the guy they got from Philadelphia. And, I love Keon Smith. Nobody talks about Keon Smith. I am so pumped up to see what kind of progress Keon Smith made, because that's one of those that you could end up finding yourself a gem and you didn't realize how good the guy was because he was so raw and young when you got him. So I'm dying to find that out, but there's a lot of unknowns. Kendall Lamm is not an unknown anymore. And then the flip side of that, not only do you get Kendall Lamm, and now you have the insurance policy you needed for Teron Armstead. You and I knew that Kendall Lamm was really important to bring back because of the aforementioned success. Correct? So now you feel a lot better about the offensive line. Now you feel a lot better if Teron Armstead gets injured, because the year before you saw no Kendall Lamm, no Teron Armstead. Holy shit, we are in trouble. And then on the flip side, and listen, I get some of you, whatever, I don't really care and completely disagree. I think Chris Greer is an ass kicker. And as much as I was desperately wanting them to sign, I probably would have wanted to sign him a little faster. Chris Greer deals with ice in his veins, bro. Because he held patiently through the first couple of waves of free agency, and he didn't flinch. And clearly he waited for his price. Because Kendall Lamm couldn't get the price he probably wanted out in the open market because others didn't look at him as valuable to them as he was to Miami. So the Miami Dolphins made a monster move yesterday with Kendall Lamm. Considering the way he played last year, I feel a lot better about this O-line moving forward. Yes, sir.
Bobby Schaus put out Kendall Lamm talking.
Right.
And he said, this is his final ride. Him re-signing with the Dolphins, this will be his last ride.
Yeah, he's 31, and his body's beat up.
Yep. So he said, this will be signed. He's on his back porch in his home in Carolina. This will be signed, sealed, and delivered back to a great organization, great fans, final ride.
Good for him. And I'm glad he's here with us. God, that was clutch. That was clutch. That was really good. We like finding an MVP of the night. And we already found one. Well, what if I tell you I found two? And, when you call Cutter's Edge Pro, you'll talk to William, you'll talk to Mike, you'll talk to Hiberto, you'll talk to so many people who are MVPs. And that's probably why Cutter's Edge is, when it comes to landscaping, the MVP of South Florida, Dade, Broward, to Palm Beach counties. Telling you, you got to call Cutter's Edge Pro. They know how to get it done. 954-472-0622. Tree trimming and removals, landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation, synthetic turf. They did an amazing job at our home, and many of our listeners. In fact, there's a doctor that lives close to my house that he saw me outside, so he kind of recognized me, and then he told me, "Hey, can you show me the artificial turf?" So I opened the gate. He saw it, and he called Cutter's Edge Pro and got the artificial turf for his dogs. And by the way, they've had it. I've had the artificial turf for about 2 years. Not one blade of grass grew through it. So now let's get to our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
All right. And my Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night is Chris Greer. He has, I thought he responded beautifully this offseason. They made the tough decisions of saying, we're going to sign the next wave of players. We're going to let this wave of players. We can still compete and be a great team without him. We'll go out and fill the spots in free agency. And I think they've done an excellent job in free agency. If you get a little luck with health, I think it's all right. And as desperately as I wanted Kendall Lamm to come back, the ice that man showed in his veins, and he constantly does this for trades, for everything, to hang in there and still get Kendall Lamm, I thought that was awesome. So, Chris Greer is my Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
Right. Bitcoin holding right around 65, 66. Amazing entry point for a lot of people. That shit's going to bounce into the 70s soon. The hash rate is through the roof. It's 3 times faster than it's ever been. And the price follows the hash rate. It trails. And we're going to get a bounce. Like, I think this is going to be one of the more vicious bounces we have ever seen until future ones that might be worse. And I mean in a good way. I mean it like, here's a prediction for you. I think we might get a God candle. Or is it mega candle? Mega's 10,000 or God candle 100,000. Which one is? I get it confused now. I think it's a mega candle, and then the God candle is 100,000. I think the mega candle, the 10,000. We had like a 7,000 move recently. It's coming, and I think that this dip is setting it up for something like that. There's too many people that I'm reading about that are moving their funds to Bitcoin. And so I just, not a financial advisor by any stretch whatsoever. But, it's the writing's on the wall, and it's only going to go in one direction. No other direction. You might have a little volatility along the way, corrections and things like that, but eventually it's only going in one direction. So, like I told you already a couple times, you're going to wish this dip lasted longer, because you're not going to see 38 again. You're not going to see those numbers ever again. And I don't know if you'll see 50s and 60s ever again, to be quite honest. When it goes to 150, you might get what's that? A God candle is 10,000. Okay, yeah. Then the mega candle is the 100,000. God candle's 10,000. That's it. I get it confused. It's coming, dude. I got one DUI 13 years ago, would never do it again. That's fine. You know what, Greg? We're human beings, bro. We're all entitled to a mistake. We're all entitled to it. It's not something we all condone. I'm sure you don't condone it either, but dude, you're human. It happens. Now, a second and a third time, I don't have any sympathy for you anymore. At that point, you just don't give a shit. Let's see. I want artificial turf, but it's worth it because it pays off for itself, dude. Because you're not watering the lawn every day or every couple days, and especially here. And then you're cutting the lawn every 10 to 14 days. Rainy season, by 10 days, I'm cutting the grass. Non-rainy season, 14. So in the long run, you're going to be spending hundreds and thousands of dollars anyways. So when you use the artificial turf, yeah, you got to pay for it. But eventually it pays off for itself. And it always looks, you know what it is? Like you walk out and it always looks phenomenal. Hello. You know, that's kind of the case. I'm sorry, not kind of. That's the case. It's awesome. I'm telling you, your wife is going to love it. The dogs are going to love it. You're going to love it. That's the other thing. The management of it is super easy compared to real grass and then weeds and all the crap that you got to deal with, dude. Oh, by the way, here's the other thing without the artificial turf. Dogs aren't bringing in any dirt. Neither are you. So the wife isn't screaming at you, I just mopped the floors. You've heard that one before? So you have the artificial turf, no mud, no nothing. You come in, boom, everybody's happy. Think about that. Think about all the pluses with it. Okay? So, yeah, you got to pay because it's going to cost you a little bit more early on than grass. But in the long run, it comes out to be the cheaper one and the one that is a pleasure to deal with every day of your life, dude. Every day of your life. It's outstanding. You know, so just, you know, you got to think macro, not the micro part at the moment where you had to pay for it. Like anything, you're making an investment. Oh, and by the way, that also raises the value of your home. So, you know, another positive to that, you know, a lot of things, man, a lot of things that are way worth it. Best way to buy crypto with least fees, a DeFi platform. And then you connect your wallet to it. That's the best way. Now, DeFi platforms sometimes get expensive. Sometimes they're cheaper. But, okay, so let me ask you something. You know, because the fee stuff gets a little ridiculous. Okay? Follow me on this. I bought Bitcoin at 20,000. It's at 66,000 right now. I bought Cardano, a bunch of it at 24 cents, 30 cents. Cardano's 57 now. I got Polygon, I got 44, 50, whatever. It's like at $1. So let me ask you something. So I paid a 1.5%. I paid 2%. I paid 3% for a service fee. And I'm up 70% or 60% or 50%. Really, dude? Is that what you're worried about? You know what I'm saying? So when you buy Bitcoin at 50,000 and it's at 250,000, are you really freaking worried about the 2% you paid at that moment? That you paid $1 something or $2 or some fee? Really? Seriously? Are you not investing in an asset that's growing, that will grow exponentially? Like I gave you guys Pendle at $1.34. Okay, $1.34. I gave you Pendle. Think about this. It is at $5 now. Okay, $1.34. You think I'm fucking worried if I pay 2 or 3%? I've 3x the bitch. I'm over 300%. The fuck should I care about 2 or 3%? You got to pay a service fee wherever you go. And this is why I always tell you, you got to have, you know, have an account on crypto.com, have an account on your Tangent wallet, Exodus, Binance, Coinbase. You're going to move it anyway to your cold storage wallet. Now, the fees are a little different, but not by much. So you might get 1.5 here, you might get 2.5 there, but who cares? I'm up 300% on Pendle. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm only up 297. I'm up like 70% on Bitcoin. Oh, then just right. I'm up 67%. We're getting ridiculous. Okay? So, just kind of, bought the asset at one price and at 4X's. What do you think? Anyway, best way, I'm in California. Hopefully one day I'll get some of my neighbors, get his front yard done, and it stands out. One day definitely getting some. Oh, does the front yard match the backyard? Yes. Well, in my case, no, because I have grass. But we wanted grass on the front yard. We should have gotten I should have gotten the artificial. But it's a really small front yard. That's why. So, people are used to stock trading when 2% is a lot, but yeah, who cares? Yeah, I mean, it gets ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? To worry about that? Come on, man. You know? It's like I gave you injective protocol at $1.43. I gave you injective protocol at $1.43 in August of 2022. Okay? All right. Where's injective right now? You know where injective is? $33. And I gave it to you at $1.43. So you're going to worry about 2% or 3% at that point when you bought it? They got to make money too, man. You know, the exchanges have got to make money. So when you buy crypto, they're going to charge you. You know what I mean? But if you're investing in a company that's going to 3, 4, 5, 6x, like I gave you Pendle, and we're already 3x on Pendle. You know what I mean? So we don't worry about those kind of things. We move on because the investment's already so in the green that the little service fee doesn't really matter. What matters is that we have the asset so we can make money off of it. That's what matters. All right, let's get to it. Enough of that crypto. Let's get to my man, Jay Skursky from the Buffalo News. Let's talk a little Buffalo Bills. And the man, Stefon Diggs, has got some new digs. He's in Houston. Let's find out from Jay what's going on. Jay, how you feeling, baby? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Muted. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Muted. Muted. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We'll get him back. We'll get him back. We'll get him back. Jay Skursky, by the way, on Twitter, JaySkursky, SKURSKI. Jay Skursky. Good dude. Great dude. And been covering the Bills for a long time for the Buffalo News. So make sure you follow him. Let's see if he's got the audio on now. Let's bring him aboard. Ready to go. Jay, you got that audio on now? Muted. You're muted. You are muted. You're muted. Mic off. There you go. You got your mic off. Okay. You got it now? Let's see. Oh, you're still muted. You're still muted. Oh, this is funny. This is awesome. You have his number? Do you have his number? So you can call him? This is fantastic radio. Let's see. Okay. You have it now. So give him a ring. All right. We'll try to get Jay on and we'll try to get his mic on if he can. He's just having a little trouble. So Sean will explain to him how to get that mic on and get it done. Let's see. Here we go. And then we'll talk to him. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. All right. All right. So there we go. We'll get him on now, and we'll get his mic going. By the way, I don't know what year this is. I've never worn this shirt. This is an extra large. So I saw you're going to start seeing some new shirts, brand new. I don't know what year it is from this tour. I'll ask Sean. I didn't even look at it when I put it on. I just remembered. Okay, because I went to a closet where I have a bunch of extra larges. What do I have there? What year is this shirt? What tour does it say, Sean? Doesn't have a year? All right. Oh well. Anyway, I think I saw this concert at the BB&T Center. I want to say long time ago. Ooh. My elephant ear is here. The ear is here. I love it. My favorite food, food in the fair is an elephant ear. So good. So dangerous. We have Jay yet? No Jay? Oh, we're doing a phone call? Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I got you, baby. What are you, man? You can't figure out the mic there on your StreamYard link?
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, technology, you know. I don't know why it isn't working. But every time I started to talk, it would say that the mic wasn't found. So I'm not really sure what was going on.
It's all good, Jay. All right, let's get to it. I'm not shocked with the trade because there were some rumblings going on. You guys have been writing about it. It doesn't seem like he's been happy for a while. So walk me through what the hell happened here and how it finally happened.
Well, I think what happened, and that it's reflected in the compensation that the Bills got for making this trade, is that they tired of Stefon Diggs. They didn't want him on the roster anymore, quite frankly, and they didn't want him on the roster to the point that they were willing to not only trade him for no help at all in the 2024 season, considering the draft pick that they got is in 2025, but they were also willing to eat $31 million in money. Now, Stefon Diggs was going to count about $27 million on the cap, so they're adding about $4 million to that. And, that's a massive dead money cap hit. And the fact that they're willing to take that shows that they were ready to move on from Stefon Diggs almost no matter what the cost, because it is a big cost. And why would you be willing to do that? Well, you'd be willing to do that because you've had enough of having the guy on your team.
Right. No, and listen, dude, he's always been a malcontent. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of been the thing. And, that scene where he wasn't happy with the first half and McDermott's got to go hug him and talk to him. And it's like, dude, you're a grown ass man, brother. I mean, you act like a petulant child at times. And the part that really sucks. And for me to say this as a Dolphins guy that follows the Dolphins, and obviously, I can't lie. I'm born and raised here, dude. I've always rooted for the Dolphins. But the Bills did everything for that guy, bro. Everything. And it was like, it was almost like the team never does enough. It doesn't matter if it's Minnesota. It doesn't matter if it's Buffalo. And it won't matter a damn bit in Houston, dude. It won't matter because eventually, if it's not Stefon's way, then it doesn't fly. And that's kind of the sad part about all of this, that they did everything to accommodate that dude.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that you said there was wrong. I think that's all pretty much spot on. The thing with the excuse me, the thing that confused me or maybe surprised me about this entire situation that I haven't been able to wrap my head around is, what did Stefon Diggs want that he wasn't getting in Buffalo? In the 4 years that he was a member of the Buffalo Bills, he was throwing the football more than anyone else in the NFL, more than any other receiver, potentially with the exception of Devontae Adams. Those two guys were 1 and 2 in terms of targets over the last 4 years.
Okay.
So literally no wide receiver was getting the ball more than Stefon Diggs. He wanted a new contract. He got that. He's paid like, a top 10 receiver when for a big chunk of last season, he didn't produce like a top 10 receiver.
Right.
He has Josh freaking Allen throwing him the football. Do you know how many wide receivers in the league would want to be catching passes from Josh Allen? He had an offense, he had a fan base here that is known for being passionate, that is known for supporting their players.
Big
through,
time.
Yeah, through thick and thin, right? One of the best fan bases in the league. And now, I can be biased in saying that, but, I cover this league. I go to every away stadium. I know what the passion of.
Dude, I don't think anybody can ever fight that, Jay, because Bills fans do things that no other fan base does. They end up contributing to other people's causes on other teams all the time. That's unheard of. Unheard of.
Yeah.
So as much as they're enemies down here and not like down here, you got to respect the passion of the Bills fans. There's no doubt about that, dude. Please.
And so for me, it's just really confusing to wonder what it is that Stefon Diggs wasn't getting in Buffalo that he thinks he's going to get somewhere else. Now, listen, he landed in a good spot. Houston is an up and coming team. They've got an exciting young quarterback. Maybe this works out well for Stefon Diggs. Hopefully for his sake it does. He finds, whatever happiness that he was lacking in Buffalo, maybe they'll find it in Houston. But the fact that the Bills decided to do this and to take that dead money charge, as I said here at the start, just goes to show that they were more than willing and ready to have this guy not be a part of their team. And, we can talk a lot about the compensation and what they got back in return. To me, that's secondary to this deal. The thing that jumps out to me is you had a player, a Pro Bowler, 4 great years, statistically great years in Buffalo, really helped Josh Allen, I think, grow as a quarterback. I don't think anybody would dispute that. Josh Allen certainly would not dispute that. But for whatever reason, he wasn't satisfied. It wasn't enough for him. And the Bills decided that, hey, we've got to cut bait here a year too soon rather than a year too late. And, and moving him off this roster leaves a gaping hole right now at number 1 receiver. It's going to be Brandon Beane has got a lot of work to do here to replace Stefon Diggs' production on this team, and it's not going to be easy. So it'll be interesting to see what he does the remainder of this offseason.
I got to tell you something, Jay, and I put it all on the Dolphins now. I know last year they were so injury riddled, and they had like 3 linebackers that had AARP cards playing in that playoff game. So I get they were super injury riddled, and it was hard for them. But if they're healthy, okay, which they haven't been the last 2 years, at the end of the season they've been just completely banged up. But if they're healthy at the end of the year, there is no excuse. You better win this division, because I think the Dolphins should be the best team in this division right now for this season. I don't believe in the Jets. I still think, isn't that a 40-year-old quarterback on a repaired Achilles on the same turf with a mediocre line, right, Jay? I think it's kind of the same thing, right? Okay, so, and everybody in the league is better than New England. I think Buffalo took enough steps back that if Miami, dude, if you don't win the division this year, you're never going to win it. I got to say.
I'm with you again on that. I do think, though, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see, whether you look at the betting lines, that kind of thing, whether those have moved, whether, maybe the Dolphins are favored.
No, but Buffalo will get the respect because they've won it for 4 or 5 years, the division straight. They're going to get the respect, and they still have Josh Allen, so they're still going to get it. But if I'm the Dolphins, brother, I don't, you're going to wait till they reload again? Okay, because obviously they took a couple steps back here now. They took cap hits, so they can't really load the way they need to. This is your time now. If you don't take advantage of it, I got to tell you, I got to be very critical of the organization, especially Mike McDaniel, if he doesn't figure this stuff out. If you're kind of healthy, I think you got to win this division. I really do.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of pressure on Miami to do that, right? When you look at them coughing up the division lead that they had last year, losing that game against Buffalo at home in the regular season finale, and you can answer this better than I can, but I have to wonder just how much Josh Allen is in the collective heads of the Dolphins, right? I mean, they have really never been able to defend him. I know that Miami has a couple of wins over the Bills in Josh Allen's time, but even in the games that they've won, Allen has played magnificent. For whatever reason, when it's Miami on the other sideline, that generally brings out the best in Josh Allen.
Yes,
and
it does. By the way, it brought the best out of Jim Kelly. You know what I mean? It brought the best out of brother. It brought the best out of Richard Todd. That's how old I am. Okay. I mean, it didn't have to just be the great ones. Sometimes even the guys who were all right would just like the magic, just like, Freeman McNeil. Wow, he's a Pro Bowler against the Dolphins. So you're right. Josh Allen has been an absolute thorn in the side for the Dolphins. They have not been able to figure that out at all.
Yeah, and I think looking at this from the Bills' perspective, I know that people are going to look at it, and you said it earlier. I don't necessarily disagree that the Bills have taken a step back. They have lost a lot of players from what has been a very successful organization the past 4 years with 4 straight AFC East titles is not easy to do. And you lose Stefon Diggs, you've lost Gabe Davis, you've lost Mitch Morse. Defensively, you've lost Jordan Poyer, who's now down there in Miami, Tre'Davious White. The list sort of goes on here with this purge that the Bills have had in regards to the salary cap, and now obviously the move with Diggs being the most recent. That being said, I don't think that getting younger, which is what's going to happen here, it has to happen, is necessarily it doesn't have to be a bad thing for the Bills. Yes, I know that they have lost a lot of veteran leadership. I mean, this will blow your mind. The Bills had 8 captains last year. 6 of them are no longer on the team.
Yeah,
that is really hard to believe.
That's where you guys can reload with youth, but the youth still needs the experience, and that's where you might take a step back for a year or two. But then, if you pick the right players, you bounce back right away.
Yeah, and exactly, and obviously, again, we talk about Josh Allen, right? He's the guy that's left. He's the captain who's still here. He's the guy that all of this, revolves around. And I know that Bills fans don't want to hear this. They don't want to take a long view of this right now. But trading Stefon Diggs today, while it hurts right now, does give them a significantly different salary cap picture moving forward. And so I look at this 2024 season as a year of transition for the Bills. They are not in any way rebuilding, not even close.
No, they'll be good. They'll be good, but not not like what they've been the last couple years. Right, yes.
Yeah, I expect that they'll be a playoff team. Will they win the division? Can Miami overtake them? Certainly possible. Now, I also think, though, that we shouldn't ignore that the Dolphins have had some significant losses, too. And losing a guy like Christian Wilkins, I mean, you talk about a guy, what Allen has been for the Bills. Well, Wilkins, when he has played the Bills, has given them fits too, and so I think that's a huge loss for them.
That's where they haven't recovered. They haven't recovered, but I'll take Fuller over X, and the Josh Allen linebacker, Jordan Brooks from Seattle, young guy, fifth year now, athletic, can move. I think they got Jordan Brooks specifically for Josh Allen, because they needed a guy that has some size, some athleticism, can move, can run, and can chase down that big mofo that kills them every single time. I think Jordan Brooks was specifically signed to stop Josh Allen, actually. So I like them more at linebacker. I like them more in the secondary. But you are right. They took a step back at defensive tackle. But again, I think it was one of those, do you pay him would you pay $27 million to Christian Wilkins when he's really not a pass rusher? I have a hard, he averaged 5 sacks a year, and he got the 9 this year, and go look at it. All 9 sacks. They're almost, except for the Buffalo one, every other one, they're all against bad teams and multiple sacks. He had like 2.5 against the Jets. He had like another 2 against the Patriots. Like he loaded up this year, luckily, on a lot of bad teams. And so I understood why the Dolphins said, yeah, no, dude, you're good, but not 27 million good. We got to move on from there. So I understood, but you are right. They took a step back there, but I think they took a step forward in 2 other areas, because I'll take Jordan Brooks over Baker, and I'll take a younger Fuller over a worn down X who really doesn't have the need. You saw what Diggs did to his ass, bro. Come on.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I mean, so both franchises are kind of in a situation, right, where they're getting younger at certain spots. They're they've lost players that maybe they didn't want to lose, but, those are realities of the salary cap era. And I think that's especially true for the Bills. It's going to be really weird seeing Jordan Poyer lined up in the secondary for the Dolphins. And I think, there's a lot of games from a Bills perspective now where, you look at Diggs is in Houston. Well, the Bills play Houston. Poyer is in Miami. Obviously, they play them twice. Gabe Davis and Mitch Morse in Jacksonville. The Bills play Jacksonville. So there's a lot of revenge games on the Bills' schedule. And, the Bills are the team, to your point earlier, they're the ones that have the target on their backs, especially in the division, right?
They will.
So that, the conference hasn't worked out for them, but, the Jets, the Patriots, the Dolphins, they have to be building a team with what you just said there in mind. How do we get past Buffalo? How do we win the division? Because that's every team's number one goal. And so, Miami, I think, is but let's just forget about all of that for a second. How great is it, though, that this rivalry is kind of back and both teams are legitimate, right? I mean, it's so much fun that
even though Miami, Jay, still has to earn it. Because
they do.
You know what it is? It's like when Knicks fans tell me, it's a rivalry against the Heat. I'm like, no, there is no rivalry, dude. Miami trounces your ass for the last 20 years. You're a terrible franchise. When you start winning games, then it's a rivalry. So you can't be 2-13 against Sean McDermott. There is no rivalry. Like I just told you, Miami should win the division. Now, Vegas should not give them any damn respect because they haven't earned it. And that's the only problem with the Dolphins right now. They have to earn that part. We can say that they're at Buffalo's level. We can say that they have a shot at beating Buffalo. But, brother, you got to go out and do it already. It's just the talk is cheap every year. You got to get it freaking done. And so if the window's, it's there. And, one more thing, Jay, that you and I have to do in the media and others have to do, and I think we do it sometimes, but maybe we need to remind fans because, like, your fans go into this panic, like, oh, my God, it's a total rebuild. And so did Miami. No, it's not a rebuild, dude. There are decisions you have to make. You have to let Hunt and Wilkins go and AVG. Why? Because you have to sign Tua, Waddle, Phillips, and Holland next year. So, unfortunately, they made a decision. We're signing the next wave, not this wave. So then we will rebuild in those areas. But this happens to every team practically every year. They have to make tough decisions. They have to make financial decisions because the cap does not allow you to keep all the great players on your team. You're going to have to say bye to really good ones at times, and you're going to have to turn the page. And I think our fan bases all over the NFL have this tendency of panicking and not understanding the finances that go behind all of this. And the Bills, in your case, they had a problem child. They had to tear the scab off. How do you do this? You got to do it at one point or another, and you got to be ready to move on. Well, this is when they reached their point. And unfortunately, fiscally, these are the decisions that you have to make. But it's not because you want to rebuild or anything like that. These are just financial things that happen to every single team along the way. Dude, the Niners at one point had to get rid of Joe Montana. Like what the hell, bro? Really? You got rid of Montana. And that's because you had Young, and I get all of that, but everybody's tradable, bro. Everybody.
That is right. And, I equated this earlier. I was talking with some people about this move of Diggs. Feels like something that Bill Belichick would have done back in the day, right? Be willing to move on from a player a year too soon rather than a year too late. And when you look at Brandon Beane's moves this offseason, he has really cut ties with players on the other side of 30. And Stefon Diggs will turn 31 this season, and Jordan Poyer into his 30s. Micah Hyde not re-signed, 30s. Mitch Morse, 30s. So they really, with the exception of Von Miller, who they made a big commitment to, who was in his 30s, they recently under Beane, there seems to have been a shift to say we need to start getting younger. They've been one of the oldest teams in the NFL the past couple of seasons. And that, when I go back to, sort of retooling, I think is the way that I want to phrase it, not rebuilding. Exactly. And that, and this is part of it. And, I do wonder what this year's draft class means for this move, Did Beane feel so good about the wide receiver class, which has been really hyped up and talked about being very, very strong,
It is.
that he felt comfortable that he was going to be able to go into this draft and come away with a wide receiver who can contribute right away. I think there are moves 2, 3, and 4. Trading Diggs was move 1. We haven't seen moves 2, 3, and 4 yet. Those are still to come.
Yeah, and one of the things, Tam, what was I going to mention to you before? I was just thinking about this, and damn, and now I'm brain farting, and I forgot what I was going to mention to you about these trades and the moves. But either way, I forgot anyways. But listen, like you were saying, Bean going younger, I did the same thing with Christian Wilkins. I tell Dolphin fans, just watch what they do. Don't listen to them. Watch them, right? And if you watch Chris Greer, right, he pays what? He pays receivers. He pays corners. He pays pass rushers. He pays left tackles. And he'll pay now his quarterback. And if he doesn't think you're a legit pass rusher, i.e. Wilkins, he's not going to pay you, dude. And so Sealer gets the same stats that Wilkins gets, and he's paying Sealer just under $11 million. You can't turn around and pay the guy $27 million that gets the same exact. In fact, Sealer's stats were slightly better than Wilkins this year, actually, because he had an interception and a touchdown, something that Wilkins didn't have, and he had, I think, one more sack than him, or half a sack or something than him, overall. So the way he looked at it was, I'll pay Chubb. Yeah, no, he's a pass rusher, so I'll trade and pay for him. I'll pay for Byron Jones, and I'll pay for X, and I'll pay for Jalen Ramsey, and I'll pay for Tyreek, and eventually I'm going to pay Waddle. But he kind of tells you this is where I put the priorities on a football team. I don't put it on a guard. I put it on a tackle, and that's kind of that's kind of the way he rolls. And it's kind of like, okay, we'll get cheaper guards and we'll get through it that way. But I'm not paying for guards. I'm paying for tackles. And if you watch his MO so far in the last few years, that's all he ever pays. Most of the other people don't end up getting the big money. He ends up moving on from them or getting somebody that's in the middle of their career to fill in or something like that. That's kind of the way. It's interesting because they'll talk one way, GMs and coaches, but if you really just pay attention to what they're doing, they'll tell you exactly how they're really thinking. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah. And that's, that is kind of reflected in this, this roster building that the Bills have sort of taken under with Bean. And like I said earlier about the movement to sort of get a little bit younger in these key positions. And I think really value, they want to get out of this situation where they're so sort of their hands are tied really in the offseason because of their cap issues. And that's what, led to the release of a guy like Hoyer who ends up in Miami and all those other players that I mentioned. They just had to clear the deck of their cap situation, and trading Diggs. Well, I said before, it hurts to have $31 million in dead money. But that's going to look pretty nice in 2025. And that's not to say that they're overlooking this upcoming season. I believe fully that the Bills expect to win. They expect to be an AFC contender again. They expect to, their goal, their stated goal, I'm sure, will be to win the division for a fifth straight year. None of that changes by trading Stefon Diggs. But what does change is more of their long-term outlook. And I think that this gives them some roster flexibility beyond this season to make a big move at wide receiver, whether it be, I know Justin Jefferson shooting for the moon and the stars, right? But we don't know what's going to happen with him in Minnesota. We don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco. Are those types of players?
T. Higgins, bro.
T. Higgins, right? Could any of those players, potentially become available? If so, I think the Bills have a little bit more flexibility to maybe try and make a move like that they didn't have yesterday, but while Stefon Diggs was still on the roster.
And Mike Brown ain't paying T. Higgins and the other guy. Nah, that ain't going to happen, bro. Mike Brown don't spend that kind of money. So T. Higgins will become available to somebody, and he is a legit number one on any other team, okay? I mean, legit number one. That guy is a stud. Any team that signs T. Higgins is going to sign themselves a number one Absolute stud out there. All right, Jay. Follow him on Twitter at Jay Skursky. And if you're a Bills fan out there, you can get his coverage there at the Buffalo News. Jay, thank you on short notice, man. Appreciate you because I know you've been going crazy, breaking the news and all that stuff and getting all that stuff out there to fans. So appreciate you taking some time today, man.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for having me. Talk to you guys soon.
You got it, baby. There you go. Jay Skursky, Buffalo News. We appreciate him as always. We appreciate Eddie, by the way. Thank you to Eddie, as always, out here at the Youth Fair. Eric, also, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. Michelle, too. Thank you. Remember, donations, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Ocala Joe making a Bitcoin donation. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Still can buy Tangem direct using cash. No, you don't use Cash App with it. Use your credit card to buy the Tangem wallet. Okay. Now you don't use Cash App. You connect your bank card to Tangem or connect Apple Pay to Tangem. That's what you got to do, Ocala Joe. Remember that. You don't connect Cash App to Tangem. That doesn't work that way. You got to connect your bank card or your or Apple Pay. That's what I would do. I would connect Apple Pay because it's kind of Apple Pay is a mediary between your bank card and the exchange. So that helps you because they can help you security-wise too at the same time. So it's actually pretty cool. So I would use the Apple Pay. Okay. That will happen. Let's see. Okay. Thank you, Ocala Joe. All right, just checking a bunch. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to tell somebody something. All right. There you go. I got a newbie in Bitcoin right now. So he's been like buying this dip, right? And he's like, I'm down $30. And I'm like, buy more. And he sent me back a bunch of laughing. I go, well, that's right. That means that the average is under your average. So now you're supposed to buy more so you can lower your average. And then that way, when it bounces, you're getting more, It's hard. It goes against our entire being as a person. It's the human goes, when everything is skyrocketing, they jump on. It's up 70, 700%, 7,000%. Oh, let me jump on. And then when it goes down, instead of holding and buying more when it's low, so when it bounces back, you're making more money. You know what I mean? No. They sell and take the loss. So they buy high to lose and sell low and lose again. You know what I mean? It's like when the stock market went to 8,000. If you bought then, and then now it's close to 40 or 39 now, think about it. If you hung in there, you 5x'd it. You got to have patience. You got to have guts. Or if not, investing is not for you. That's kind of the way it is. You cannot flinch. If you do, you will lose a lot of money. So you're better off not even doing it. I went to a game in Buffalo 2 seasons ago, and Stefon drove up to the sidewalk right in front of me. We could see it in him because the window was rolled down. He passed 5 or 6 cars on the sidewalk. Yeah. Well, Stefon's a loser. Anyway, we thank all the great people out here at the Youth Fair one more time. We thank Matt Verderam and Jay Skursky. Got to thank my lovely wife and my daughter helping us out here. Al also, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Stanley, that masters this entire platform. Appreciate all of you. Tomorrow we are at Hialeah Park, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll be rocking and rolling. So appreciate all of you. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Be good out there.